Jacob, whose nickname was Israel and who was the grandson of Abraham, and his sons, the Israelites, migrated to Egypt at the end of Genesis. Many generations passed, and the group of Israelites procreated and grew in numbers so that the land of Egypt was filled with them. A new king, known as the Pharaoh, was enthroned in Egypt. He was worried that the Israelites would outnumber the native Egyptians. The new Pharaoh enslaved the Israelites. The Egyptians set taskmasters over the Israelites to oppress them with ruthless forced labor. The Egyptians forced the Israelites to create brick and mortar and to work in their fields. The Pharaoh imposed infanticide upon the Israelites. He instructed the Israelite midwives to kill every baby boy as soon as he was born. But the midwives feared God and disobeyed the Pharaoh, letting the boys live. The Pharaoh commanded the Egyptian army to kill Hebrew boys by throwing them into the Nile River. One Hebrew baby boy named Moses was born and hidden from the Egyptian army. Once he became too large to hide, Moses was sent down the Nile River in a basket. The Pharaoh's daughter found baby Moses in a basket on the Nile River, and Moses' own biological mother was, quite luckily, chosen by the Pharaoh's daughter to nurse him. Moses was raised in the royal palace, though he still somehow knew of his Israelite heritage. One day after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his people were working and saw their forced labor. He saw an Egyptian taskmaster abusing an Israelite, and so he killed the taskmaster. As a result, Moses had to flee Egypt. Moses was tending his flocks outside of Egypt when, in a trippy scene, God spoke to him out of a burning bush. Speaking through the flame, God instructed Moses to go back to Egypt to liberate the Israelites from their slavery. Following God's instructions to return to Egypt, Moses, with his brother Aaron, went to the Pharaoh and said, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go, so they may celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness." But the Pharaoh said, "I do not know the Lord, and I will not let them go." Because Pharaoh refused to set the Israelites free, God decided to punish him by sending 10 plagues on Egypt. God turned the Nile River water into blood. God sent swarms of frog, lice, and flies upon them. God inflicted the livestock with diseases. The people got boils. There was hail, swarms of locusts, and overwhelming darkness. The last plague was the killing of the firstborn children of the Egyptians. Before the last plague, the killing of the firstborns of Egypt, God gave special instructions to the Israelites to make sure their children would not get killed. This is what they were to do. Take a lamb without blemish for each family and slaughter it at twilight. Take some of the blood from the lamb and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the house. Eat the lamb roasted over a fire with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Eat this meal hurriedly with their loins girded, sandals on, and staff in hand. That night, after the Israelites ate the Passover meal, God passed through the land of Egypt, striking down every firstborn in the land. But God passed over the houses of the Israelites and did not strike their firstborn children dead. Finally, the Pharaoh let the people go. The Israelites left their homes in Egypt and went out to the sea. But as they were traveling, the Pharaoh changed his mind about letting them leave Egypt and pursued them with his whole army. At the banks of the Red Sea, Moses raised his staff and God parted the waters so that the people could walk across on dry ground. Pharaoh's army chased them into the sea, but God made their chariot wheels get stuck in the mud and closed the waters over them. Not one of them remained. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. On the far side of the sea, Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. "I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. Horse and rider he has thrown into the sea." Moses' sister played her tambourine, and all the women danced. The Israelites went out into the wilderness, and God made a covenant with them at Mount Sinai, giving them the Decalogue, also known as the 10 Commandments, to keep as the human terms of the Sinai covenant. God gave the Israelites more laws to keep, including a different version of the 10 Commandments as the human terms of the Sinai covenant.